You've probably heard people talk about the temperature of the audience. Either they're cold to you or they're warm to you or hot to you, right? But what's not immediately obvious is what that means for our marketing messages and the marketing tactics that we used. I discovered what these temperatures really mean is that people are using certain cognitive frameworks based on that temperature. The way they think when they're hot is not the way that they think when they're cold. So if you send the wrong message, like a cold message to a hot person, a hot lead, it's not going to work. It's not going to move the needle. And what is moving the needle? We need to move them down the buyer's journey. For a hot lead, what are we trying to get them to do? We're trying to get them to buy a second time and advocate for us. Refer, word of mouth, tell people about us. If you're sending the wrong message to them and not nurturing them the right way, that's not going to happen. So in this video, we're going to explain how to do this. My name's Irshad, partner at Dropkick Copy. We are direct response marketers, Olympic level direct response marketers, World Federation champions, I like to say. Our oversight translates well to all levels of the funnel, but it's the bottom of the funnel that interests us the most. You can watch my partner interview some of our clients. The link is in the description box below, but first watch the rest of this video. So a hot lead is somebody that's at the point of checkout. They pulled out their credit card, they pulled out their cash, they're about to buy right now. A hot lead is also somebody who's bought from you before and is about to buy from you again. And a hot lead is everything in between that, somebody who's bought from you once but hasn't bought from you again, right? They've dealt with you, they've validated you, they've transacted with you, and you've established a certain level of trust in their minds. You're valid. What studies have shown is when a person is in this state with regard to you, what really moves the needle further along is things like recognizing, appreciating them, giving them gifts, and creating reciprocity. All right. A parallel to this is if you see how friendships evolve. Initially, we're cold to each other, we become warm to each other, we become allies in a cause, allies in having fun, whatever. Once we've been through something together and exchange value with each other in a meaningful way, now trust is established. Now the thing that moves the needle forward, where you go from being a friend to a best friend, is if you start exchanging with each other with no real expectation of return. You buy somebody a meal, they buy you a meal, you do them a solid here, do them a solid there, you help them out in a tough situation, say, don't worry about it. These types of things, they encourage reciprocity from the other person. All right. So what people have found, marketers have found, is that when a person is a hot lead, the only thing that's going to take things further is if you start building this type of relationship with them, right? That's why at the point of purchase, some people might throw in a gift, right? It will not work if you throw in the gift too early. You should not beg for the sale by saying, hey, if you buy this from me right now, I'll give you this extra thing. That's not what this is. What this is when they trust you and they're about to buy and you complete the transaction, unprompted, you give them a gift. That's reciprocity. So not only did you get the thing that you valued, you paid money for it, but you got something extra. You got two valuable things. Amazing. Now you're indebted to this person. Or you recognize it, you lodge it in your brain. Even if you don't repay the favor, you'd be willing to advocate for them. You'll tell your friend, hey, when I bought from them, they gave me an extra USB. They're cool, man. Just go buy from them. Stuff like that happens because of reciprocity. Now this seems very simple to understand, but it's actually hard to execute not hard, but it requires a bit more effort than you'd think. A lot of people, they'll say, oh, just give them a free t-shirt. That's not what it is, Using the surf cap, because in the previous videos where I talked about warm temperature messaging and cold temperature messaging, I was using surf camp as an example. So let's continue with that. In a surf camp scenario, the hot lead is a person who's come and experienced some sort of surf experience with you, rented a board, taken a lesson with you, etc. Now that they've purchased from you, you could let them be and go about their way. They'll never have to buy from you again, but that's not in your best interest, right? You're trying to get them to return. So how do you get them to return? You could take the email address, that's a start. But what do? You tell them, say, hey, look, do you ever intend to come back? They'll probably say yes. That doesn't mean they'll come back. But you say, okay, sure, well, like when you return back to your home country, we'll send you an email, we have a special gift for you, no problem. And what is that gift? You can say, look, we'll give you and a friend of yours a special package with a discount. Return again within 12 months and you can avail this package. Now the person has something of value, they have a reason to return again, and it's at a discounted price, and they can bring a friend along. At the very least, they're going to tell one friend about this. Hey, would you like to come? Would you like to come? Would you like to come? They'll try and find somebody because it's going to run out in 12 months. All right. So what have you done? You've created this desire for reciprocity in them and this desire for advocacy in them. And you created FOMO, loss aversion, because there's a time limit. So now you've really got something going. There's about to be a second purchase if they follow through on it, right? So there's levels to this game. By also getting their email, this gives you an excuse to follow up with them and put them on a list where you can run drip campaigns. So as if there's a countdown to when this thing expires, by the 6-month mark, 3-month mark, 2-month mark, 1-month mark, you'll be ramping up the emails, hey, saying, hey, are you going to come? Are you going to come? Why don't you come? That type of thing, right? That's how you want to play this, right? But it goes a lot deeper, you know. This is what actually interested me about this topic and why I was fixated on this surf camp idea. What I discovered is that, like, in these types of cultures, like a camp, athletics, performance-based experience, there is scope for alumni networks. Okay. The average person is just trying to take a quick lesson and bounce, but among them is the type of person that becomes a real surf enthusiast. So you as a surf camp business owner, it's in your best interest to find out people like this and nurture them. Okay? And initiate them into the culture of surfing. So the person that has taken a lesson with you once or twice or been to your camp once, you can say, hey, look, if you want to take this seriously, join a special community group we have, or follow on follow this newsletter that we have. It's for the like the elite people, you know what I mean? Like, it's for the in group. You invite them into the in group. This invites them into an alumni network. It promises that they're going to be among people of certain status in this domain. It promises that they're going to be able to have social experiences with people and more experiences like this one that they just had. So building alumni networks is actually very powerful for retention. And if you're this type of business, I'd say that you want to think big by thinking about things like this, like real retention, like real alumni networks. You're actually in the business of nurturing newbies and initiating them into the culture of surfing so that they buy the equipment, they buy the gear, they visit the surf spots. They don't just visit your place, they visit other places. And the whole of surf culture in the world is in the business of doing that, because somebody who gets initiated into surf culture in Bali might come to Sri Lanka to try surfing just because that person did their job really well. And because of that person, you down here, you're getting that piece of business because this person wants to try the surf spot in your area. So worldwide, everybody's in the business of nurturing and initiating people into a culture, a surf culture. The culture and the community and the social currency involved is what's going to keep retention. And I find this very interesting. So with that comes referrals, with that comes loyalty programs, with that comes joining organizations and associations, you know. A whole bunch of things spring off of that if we're able to build real enthusiasts of the sport. What I see in where I'm at, there's a lot of surf camps that are just in the transactional business of getting people to take lessons with them. They're just surf schools, and they accommodate beginners. Yeah, rent a board, bring us the board back, take a couple of lessons. That's kind of it. They're not in this business of really building surf culture as such, or maybe they are, I don't know. But it just seems obvious to me that true retention is in that. Do you know what I mean? So it's something to think about. Yes, we're gonna loyalty programs, referrals, all that plays a part in retention. But when you think deeply about it, when you start at the cold temperature level, you're trying to initiate people into something that's going to lead to a repeat buyer. And I feel like that's what should your overall objective should be in a broad sense. All right. I rambled a bit here, but I hope this translates correctly to you. Hot leads are coming from more than just discounts, right? And gifts. It comes from actually creating enthusiasts. All right. So I hope that makes sense. Yeah. So, I mean, to conclude, if you haven't already, check out the other videos where I talk about the cold temperature messaging and warm temperature messaging. And I'm gonna follow this video up, exploring alumni networks a little bit more. I think it's a fascinating concept. It's relevant to more than just surf camps, even Muay Thai camps. I mean, I got this thing clicked because I've been to Muay Thai camps too. And when I explore how they operate, I realize, hey, yeah, they're in the business of kind of nurturing people and initiating people into the lifestyle of a nakmoy. There's a name for it. When you get called a nakmoy, you feel a bit chuffed. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I'm a nakmoy. You know, people have nakmoy tattooed. You know what I mean? That's retention. You know, you'll be sitting with instructors, and the instructors are like, kind of, oh, you talented, oh, you skill, oh, your knee is very nice. You can imagine a surf instructor complimenting you on your skill and stuff and encouraging you to pursue it. Maybe it's disingenuous, but aren't we in the job of like growing culture? If we don't grow culture, we will not get business. There will not be any money in this, right? The same thing with skateboarding and anything else. So education, creating alumni, you're in the business of being a school, like more than just a camp, like an educational practice and an educational community too, right? When you do that, there's a lot of money to be made because of these networks that form and friendships that form, right? And when it looks like everybody's having fun and everybody's like one crew and they're in this kind of lifestyle, this in-group, other people want to see other people get curious too and they want to get involved in it. That's overall good for business. All right, so yeah, that's about it. I hope this made sense. Take it easy.